Hi, this is Theo, and you're listening to Between Two Trains. Twice a month, we bring you great stories of entrepreneurs in the North DeKalb area. This episode, your hosts are Van Pappas and Dr. Rachel Weimer. And now, Between Two Trains.
Welcome to another episode of Between Two Trains. My name is Van Pappas, your host, and today my co-host is Dr. Rachel Weimer, who's been with us many times before. Rachel, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me here.
So how is the chiropractic business?
Great. September has been great.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Now this is 2 years for you, or this is 1 year? You're still
about
1 year?
Year and a half.
Year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to have a party at year 2.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, today we have a very special guest. His name is Jeff Kassen. Did I pronounce that right, Jeff?
You did, yeah.
All right. Jeff is with Go Sports, and they are right here in Chamblee on Peachtree Boulevard in the Guardian building. Jeff, tell us a second about what exactly is Go Sports.
Sure, yeah. It actually started out of Go Kickball 14 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but basically myself and a couple others came up with the idea to put together some type of social sport that everyone could play, right? So there's softball, soccer, flag football, volleyball. You have to be competitive and somewhat athletic to play those sports. But we were all playing kickball out in Piedmont Park, and it was amazing how many people kept joining us. We're all single at the time, so it was a great way to meet girls or guys as well. But at the same time, everyone was having a great experience. So I was in technology with a software company at that time, but I got the idea of what would it look like to start a company like this. So pulled in a couple buddies, and we launched it, and it was more challenging than we thought launching it, without a doubt. You think starting a business you don't think about all the details you have to go through. But the good news was that first season in spring 2006 went very well. And the first 2 years, we were all still just working kind of on the side. And I left my full-time job to do it full-time and about 2 years in. And the whole goal was to really take our model that we had here in Atlanta, which we had probably upwards of 4,000 people playing with us each season.
4,000?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Playing kickball?
Playing kickball, yeah. We still
Wow.
do today, each season. But taking that model and taking it into some other cities as well.
So you've now franchised this out to other cities, or is it all still part of one organization?
Yeah, it's more of an operatorship. If you
Okay.
think about like the Chick-fil-A model, how their
Okay.
stores are more operatorships than a franchise compared to like a Wendy's or Burger King.
Gotcha.
So we went the operatorship model. We have people that lead these markets in other cities. And
How many cities are we talking
we're
about?
in about 30 cities now.
30
I
cities.
saw that. There's a ton.
Yeah.
30 cities
Yeah.
Throughout the whole country, or just in the southeast?
Throughout the country.
Throughout the
We're
country.
predominantly in the southeast, but we've got some groups in Colorado.
All
and,
stemming from playing kickball at Piedmont Park.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
it all started.
Correct,
So
yep.
cool.
So talk a little bit about how challenging it was to make that jump. You're working for a software company, you got a job, a paycheck, and now you say, hey, I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How scary was that?
Well, I think you probably both know myself as well. At first, it was doing it part-time. You still got that safety net of your full-time job. You made sure
It was
to
a
deliver
side
on
gig at that point.
But this was just a side thing. We had a few other people. We were helping each other out. But as it started growing, we started feeling the pressure of how do we keep up with this? What made it easy for me is, it's easier. We didn't, at that time, startups weren't as much of a thing as they are now, right? The whole software startup craze has happened and people raising money. So we didn't raise any money. We put our own money in. And about 2 years in, the company was performing at a level that it could justify a comfortable salary. So it's not like I was taking a risk of leaving my current company to come and hardly have any salary and try to grow it, right? It was at least there where I was comfortable. It helped also. I was still I was still single at the time. It was right when had met my girlfriend and now wife.
Playing kickball?
I actually met her playing kickball.
Nice.
So, yeah.
A love story for the ages.
It was great.
I can see the movie now.
First season, yeah. It's amazing
who plays Jeff in the movie? No one answer that one.
Wait, so I think that's impressive. 2 years in, you were able to jump ship and
Yeah.
feel super comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say super comfortable, but you're right.
Now let's talk.
That's
I
impressive.
did. I was able to do that. And the biggest anxiety I was having at that time was my whole goal was to build a model that we could take into other cities.
I love that.
And if it didn't work, I was like, right, it didn't work. Now I got to go back into the work world. But fortunately, we were able to. I'm originally from Ohio. I went to Ohio State, so I had some friends back in Columbus, Ohio. We got into Columbus, Ohio first, and then we got into Denver, and we started. The model started working, and from there it got more comfortable.
Let's talk about the pricing model. So how does the company actually make money? So is it strictly just league fees? I want to play. I'm going to pay a fee to join the league.
Yeah, the majority of it is registration fees.
Mm-hmm.
We do get some sponsorship fees as well, but that's a smaller amount compared to the overall registration fees.
Okay.
So
And is
we
it
could
all
do
year
a better
round?
job of that. It is mostly.
Okay.
It depends on the market in the city. Generally, it's always spring, summer, fall, and then like here in Atlanta, we do a winter season. We don't have as many. We might have 4 or 5 leagues compared to like right now we have probably 20. I think we have 26 leagues around Atlanta.
That's amazing.
In Atlanta.
In just Atlanta alone, yeah. But the southern markets, we've gotten in Tampa and a couple others down there, and they do the opposite. They take off summer and they play fall, winter, spring, as you can imagine. But
Okay.
it's generally that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it started with you and a couple of buddies. Now, today, 2019, how many employees are there?
Yeah. Well, employees wise, we just have what we call our home office here in Chamblee.
Here in Chamblee.
And then we about 30 cities we run the leagues, and we've got someone that leads it in each one of those. They are all basically contractors, right? So
They're not
equipped.
W-2'd employees.
Yeah, they are 100% commission based to go run it well, and we've got a model that works for them where they're highly incented. We've got some market directors that are making 6 figures.
Wow.
amazing.
But it doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, a couple people that I mentioned there, like Birmingham, Alabama, the guy's done extremely well, and he's done a lot of great work. He took our model and implemented it well, but he still has his main job as well. So he's done very nicely. And there's several other cities and situations like that. So employee-wise, it's smaller, but the total number of people, including referees and things like that, it's around 250 people.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And so the location you all are in here in Chamblee, y'all been there for a while now. How long has it been?
This is our 7th year here.
7th year. Why there? What precipitated you to come to Chamblee at that time? Because that was pre how hot Chamblee is.
Mhm.
It's hot
Exactly,
now.
It's hot. Yes, it is.
So
I wish I had
why
some
there at
property in
that
this
time?
area. At that time, I wanted to stay, and not just wanted, but needed to stay inside the perimeter. We wanted to be along the MARTA line. A lot of the people that work for us are 20-somethings, right? That the product is targeted to a 21 to 40-year-old demographic, albeit we've got people on their 40s and 50s and 60s that play in corporate teams.
Mhm.
But the average age with us is 26, 27 years old. So the people that are working with us kind of fit that same demographic and want to live in town. So we've actually had some people that don't have cars and they take the MARTA here and come work with us. So I wanted to be inside the perimeter and near a MARTA line. Chamblee just kind of worked. Plus, from a cost perspective at that time, we were able to get a good amount of space because we need some warehouse space for all of our inventory and equipment that we can ship out to all of our markets each season. So that worked out. We're able to have a front office where we are and the back office. So
Right.
yeah,
That's
so
what
kinda
I was going to ask. That brick and mortar that you have is not. For some reason, every time I drive by, I think that it's a kickball place.
Yeah.
Or
You're not
a-
playing
or like a
kickball
sports-
in
there.
Yeah,
Soccer or
this
something.
is just an office space.
Yes, we've actually
I
had people
see.
come in and ask, "Is
Yeah.
there a big soccer field?
Right,
Soccer
right.
here?"
Yes.
No, yeah.
But the majority of it is a different business.
It is. The majority of
Okay.
the whole building is Guardian storage.
Right.
Got it.
We're
So-
one of the only ones that are not.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I remember coming into your business years ago before we had a chamber, when I was the president of the business association. I don't know
Yes.
if I met you at that time or not.
We did. I do
Did we
remember
meet
that.
then?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a kind of cool little office. At that time, they had like ping pong tables and stuff for the
Yeah, we
employees.
still
and
do that.
you still
We
have
got some
that?
great ping pong tournaments going on in there.
Fun.
Well, you mentioned
Work-life balance, right?
That's right.
Definitely.
Since Rachel mentioned about thinking there was an actual kickball in there, let's talk about. You have to have fields for people to play on. How do you? I mean, what fields are you using? How do you get that? Do you have to rent these fields?
Sure, we do. That's probably the one challenge to the entire product that's not in our control is the field space. So we rely and we work with Parks and Rec, even schools. There's certain school districts or schools that we know we can use their fields. We've even worked with churches sometimes that got field space. But it's wherever we get field space, that's obviously you want to be in an optimal area that your players are comfortable traveling to and are safe. Obviously, Piedmont Park is ideal in Atlanta. It's the epicenter of the city. But here in Atlanta alone, we actually play here at Keswick Park, some in Chamblee. We play a lot. We've been probably our entire 13 years at Linwood Park in Brookhaven. We're up in Kennesaw, Marietta. We've been up in Gwinnett in the past. Predominantly, we're inside the perimeter, though. Hammond Park in Sandy Springs, we've been there for years. Inside the city, we play at a lot of City of Atlanta parks. Piedmont Park, Cohen Park, Candler Park, quite a few. So Shady Valley Park.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know the whole business that well, but isn't there also a second component to this? It's not just about playing kickball, right? Isn't there a social aspect to it?
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah. Well, that's ultimately what the product is, to be honest, right? One thing that I always really enjoyed is what is the product we're putting on, right? Is it just kickball, or is it something larger, right? And our tagline is Atlanta's premier social experience, or America's premier social experience. So for each city, right? And our goal is to provide a great social outlet for our players. Whether our players are doing it to be active and to be outdoors, to just be with friends. You think about when you come out of college, you're used to being with your friends and seeing them daily, right? And now all of a sudden you're in a work world and you don't get to see anyone anymore. And you miss that. You need that, right? Well, this is one day a week where I know I'm going to get to see my friends. And you're going to get to meet a whole lot of new people. We touched on, I actually met my wife doing this literally over the very first season. We've had hundreds, I don't know if we're in the thousands, but literally hundreds of people that have met, gotten married, had babies. They even call them kickball babies.
That's
Crazy as it sounds.
baby.
So it's a great story to hear the stories of people that come together. People will submit these to us. They're like, hey, I want to share my story.
You should. That's
It's
a great
so cool.
video blog.
It is, yeah. So our team they try to do a good job with that. So that's the good
That's
part of
great.
all of it. But ultimately, it is around the overall social experience of connecting people. And that's what we look at this as. I don't look at us as necessarily running a kickball business or a sports and social business. I look at it as kickball and the other social sports are the tool that we use to bring people together, to get them outdoors, to be active. Social media is great and all, but it's a little bit overboard, right? Some people in this new generation coming up, they hardly get outside because they're glued to their computers. Yeah. They're glued to social media. Well, that's not healthy, and it'll catch up with you eventually, right? It's not healthy relationship-wise, emotionally, mentally, physically, definitely, right? So we provide that outlet where you can go, have fun, run around, kind of leave all your worries behind, so to speak.
Nice.
So you have different sponsors for each team, restaurant sponsors, or no?
For each league,
For each league,
So
okay.
We'll have some overall sponsors that just want to sponsor our league to get in front of the 20, 30-something demographic. But for each league, there is a local restaurant sponsor. Like Mellow Mushroom's been our sponsor for years. Tin Lizzie's. There's a lot of different locations like that generally after the league is done during that, so it's an 8-week season. Once you play, it's usually an hour game at the fields. Then everyone goes to the league bar afterwards. And we usually have specials there, some food specials and drink specials. And everybody just continues to meet. And that's really where a lot of people get a chance to meet across teams and things.
So for those singles listening to this, don't go to Match.com or any of the online dating services. Go to Go Sports.
Yeah.
What's the website?
GoKickball.com.
GoKickball.com to
Go
meet
Sports
your next mate.
Yeah.
I see a whole advertising campaign around meeting your mate.
Yeah. Ironically, Match.com reached out to us.
Really?
And they did a sponsorship with us a couple years ago, and they were wanting us to be one of their activities. So they were trying something where when they match people up, they wanted to then offer, hey, go do this or this on your date.
Right.
And kickball was
to make it a
big thing
little
they were
easier
trying to bring people into.
meet that new person.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
And we don't want to say we're matchmaking. We do, even in our system, you can register as a captain and then get a team, or you can register to be on a team as an invite, or you can also register as a free agent, we call it.
Like if I don't know anyone,
If you don't know
I just
anyone,
want to
we
play.
have a lot of people hundreds of people every
Free
season
agent.
that do that. And when you come on, we actually have what we call free agent matching technology. But it's basically...
Wait, what is this? Free agent
I do
matching technology?
I do have a technology background,
Yeah,
so I
there you
think
go.
I include some of that in there.
It's-
But basically, we will want to learn a little bit about the team itself. How old is this team, and what is this team looking for? You know, there's going to be people that are single and younger and want to run around. There's going to be people that are a bit older but still single or with couples and want to meet and still play and get out, right? Where if we can put them on the right teams together, they're going to have a better experience. And our technology, our system allows us to do that.
Wow.
So, but we're not a matching organization, but that does help. We've had several people that were couples, and our system was able to connect them with other teams that had couples, and they'd become best friends, right? That if they were on a team of, younger people that were all single, just got out of college, they probably wouldn't have played the next season. Exactly.
Did you write the algorithm for that?
We did. Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah, we
you
did.
specifically, are you a coder?
I helped in it. Yeah.
You helped in it?
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
those
know.
are the little. It's helped. We built our own sports management software,
Uh-huh.
which most other groups like us. There's not many that just do kickball. There's only a couple, but a lot of just other sport and social groups. They really just use kind of someone else's software, like a
So you-
SaaS
you built
software.
your
But we
own.
built our own because there's so much value that can be added there. Yeah, so that's been one of the benefits, and that's what's allowed us to really scale nationally. There's no way we could get to 30 plus cities without this software. What it does for us is powerful for our operations.
So let's talk about the entrepreneur side, getting back to that. So you and a couple buddies are the owners.
Yeah.
You 100%
Still
owner,
the
or
same,
you got, how many
no,
partners
still the same.
do you
We have
have?
4 of us, right?
Four of
So
you.
it's we kind of pulled it together, and I kind of took the lead on that, but pulled in 3 close friends that we all work together, all sharp guys, good business guys, and they're all continuing to be successful in what they've done. But us 4 are still all in it together, and all the as partners. And I left about 2 years in my job to do it full time, and so I've been doing this for 12 years full time.
And,
Yeah, so it's
and the 3 partners?
They've just been like a board, basically.
Okay, so
still
they're not
owners,
day-to-day
yeah.
operations
Correct,
of any
yeah,
kind?
Yeah, correct.
Just equity partners?
Correct, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, Rachel, unless you got something else, we'll take a short break to hear from our sponsor, and then we'll come back and play the ever fun Hot or Not with Jeff and see how he does. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Jeff Hill with Remote Home Check.
This is Regina Weir.
Hi, this is Greg Burke.
Hey, Jan Levy.
Hi, this is Margaret from 3411 Coworking, and you've been listening to Between Two Trains.
Looking for an affordable, functional, and creative space to work? Check out 3411 Coworking in downtown Chamblee. They have flexible month-to-month office space options that include fiber internet, meeting rooms, printing, coffee, snacks, and networking events. 3411 Coworking is the perfect place for entrepreneurs, remote workers, and small business owners looking for a one-stop shop for your professional needs. Stop by for a tour Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and see how 3411 Coworking can work for you.
Welcome back to Between Two Trains. We are talking today with Jeff Kassen from Go Sports, Go Kickball, all those fun names. My co-host is Dr. Rachel Weimer. And Rachel, why don't you take the first Hot or Not?
Okay, so my question is, with a business like this, where you have so many other locations and businesses and people running of the show and other places, how do you make business plans? Do you have a 5-year plan? Are there places that you want to be in 5 years? And how do you communicate that with your whole system?
Yeah, what a great question.
Is that hot?
It is hot because it's something that I think about often, right? It is, how do you do that when these people are so far away and, we're not at a level. I do look at other organizations that have this type of structure. I mean, franchisees businesses are very similar to, I looked at Chick-fil-A because they're an operatorship similar to ours as opposed to a franchisee, but it's still the same models. Well, those large organizations can just fly all their people in. They're full-time. It's a different world, whereas our people are part-time. We do have a good interview process on bringing them in, but getting them aligned to where we're going and being consistent is a challenge. So our team at our home office here, that's part of our job, is to always keep them, stay engaged. We're touching base with our people on the ground in each city every week, and we know what they're doing. It's more of a partnership, right, than them just on an island by themselves. But do they care as much about the vision and direction of the company? Probably not. right? They're more, okay, this is my market in Denver or in Chattanooga or Birmingham or Charlotte. This is where I'm going, right? Now they want the brand to be strong. It's a matter of, we got to make sure that the brand is strong because that helps them all as well. So, but keeping that alignment it's always a balance.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Great question.
You mentioned the brand. Who came up? I mean, were you the one that came up with Go Sports, or who came up with that name?
Yeah, when my partners and I, we got together as we were looking, and that name was more scalable. We were thinking about it. Initially, we were just thinking Atlanta Kickball. We really thought this was going to be something fun on the
stuck
side.
with Atlanta.
Yeah. So we're like, well, let's at least. We really never thought that anyone would even be full time,
So cool.
let alone building a team. It was more something fun on the side to provide to players out in the Atlanta markets. But our thought was, well, let's at least design it scalable so that if for some reason we had interest in other cities, it would work. So we came up with Go, and then that time it was, here's what the product is, which at that time, kickball was known for kids. People looked at us like we had 2 or 3 heads, right? And it was even going to get field space. Well, this is a soccer field. This isn't a kickball field. You don't play kickball on a soccer field. Well, this is a softball field. And it took a few years for people to get comfortable with that idea. And now it's become mainstream. And it's, now I will talk to people and, oh yeah, kickball. Yeah, adult kickball. But, 10 plus years ago, it was, is that 3rd graders, 4th graders, elementary school kids playing?
Have you thought about doing anything other than, you mentioned that there's some other organizations that do besides just kickball? I know another big one for millennials and 20-somethings is wiffle ball.
Yeah.
You ever thought of adding wiffle ball to your...
We did. We evaluated that. We do some other sports now. That kind of falls under the kind of Go Sports Unlimited and Go Sport and Social Club, as we've kind of got that. We just launched the other sports this year. So we actually do in some cities, Atlanta and Charlotte and a couple of other sports and some other Dallas. But basically softball, flag football, soccer, volleyball, we are doing those as well because they're perfect complements.
Yeah.
But we also want to make sure that we
No dodgeball?
We do
You
dodgeball.
got dodgeball?
We've done dodgeball for years.
Oh,
I should
I
say
love that.
Yes, we do
Do
that
you
as
do
well.
dodgeball for old farts like me?
Yes. It is the best
Because
exercise you'll ever get.
I need to be on a
walk out.
dodgeball team where guys can't throw really hard. I don't need a 25-year-old beaming me with
You
a
should
dodgeball.
probably play kickball then.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm getting older now too, so I don't play as much. But playing dodgeball, you're out there for 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, you
Just
are
moving.
beat,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this was before the CrossFits and things, but then the burn places now. But basically, you're wore out. Your heart is racing. You can't even hardly breathe.
That is so fun.
Because you're just, as the movie goes, right, duck, dive, dip, you're moving everywhere.
Right.
And balls are flying and you're trying to get it. It is fun, but it's a different, right? The kickball is much more around the social experience of bringing people together.
You know
the
about-
reason why we do that versus these other sports.
So I'm of Greek descent. We have a different kind of kickball. We call it, a different kind of dodgeball. We call it Greek dodgeball. You ever heard of Greek dodgeball?
I'm not.
It's different because...
Piqued my interest.
Yes, because instead of just having people on two sides, the team can have players behind the line.
Really?
So you can throw from either direction. It makes it very challenging.
What?
Yes.
Yes. Greek dodgeball.
That sounds
We played that.
chaotic.
We played that at the Greek church for years.
Well, Rachel, dodgeball was just not challenging enough for them,
I
so they
guess
might as well
not,
spin.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to the hot or not. So you mentioned how you met your spouse playing kickball. Hot or not, working with a spouse or being married to an entrepreneur like yourself, would you say that's a hot thing or not such a hot thing?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking you.
Myself or her?
I'm asking you,
That's
but
a real
I'd be
question.
interested in what you think
Yeah.
your spouse thinks about it.
She would definitely say not.
She doesn't
Yeah.
like being married to an entrepreneur.
No.
Yet
I
she
don't know
married
many
you
women,
anyways.
though. Yeah. Well, when we did meet, I was still in corporate.
Ah.
That definitely comes up every now and then.
Had you
Like bait
gotten
and switch.
married before you left the corporate job, or y'all were still
I did,
dating?
Yeah. Well, we were actually married.
You were
before I
already
left the
married.
corporate job. And she supported it all. So I will say that. She loved the product. She really enjoys it
So
all.
how did that conversation? You come home from work, said, "Honey, I think I'm quitting my job and doing this full time.
Well, it kind of built up. We started seeing the success of Go Kickball and the need. So then it was the conversations were starting to happen. Do we need to? Someone's going to have to take on and lead this. Do we hire someone? Do I step away and do this? So it was a build up to it, and it wasn't like you're going into a startup from day one and wondering, is this going to work? It has now been proven it's working. So it was a little easier.
Kids? Do you have kids?
I do. Got 2 young children now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this sort of goes in the context of your entrepreneurship and building and planning. One day you're going to be as old as I am, and you're going to say, hey, I've got these kids. They're now adults. What is your view on legacy planning and businesses, passing that along? Is this something you're trying to build for, a family business, or once you retire, that's it?
Yeah, sure. Good question. I think for this business, since there is 4 partners, and so it's not just my business, right? It's not like I'm grooming my family for that. What I do think is I do believe in entrepreneurship. It can be challenging, right? There's a reason why most people work at corporate, right? It's the anxiety,
there's a
the
safety
stresses,
of getting that check.
Oh, without a doubt,
Absolutely.
yeah. And just I can hardly remember a time now, but I remember a time when the weekends I didn't think about work at all.
Yes.
Right? When my corporate job, Friday, I couldn't wait for Fridays, and the weekend was just enjoyable. And now I'm kind of on call, right?
All the time.
And
'Cause they're playing
every
on
Saturday and
Saturday.
Sunday, there's something going. And if something comes up, around the country, something comes up, or even just if there's issues with, someone gets injured, there's always something, right, that's there. And I've kind of had to grow in that and get used to that in a leadership role of thinking this is, I need to put that in perspective. And still be able to enjoy myself, but it is going to be there. And that's probably the part that my wife struggles with too, is it never gets turned off.
Yes.
That makes sense, right? So for my kids, I'm still a big believer in entrepreneurship. I will want to educate them and guide them, and hopefully that interests them if that's how they're built. I do think I think everybody can try, but there are some there's some things that you have to be a successful entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
It's interesting that you
it's
say
not cut out for most people,
but
there's many days where I'm even like, do I really have that? It's not easy, but
it is interesting
worth
you say about educating your kids on that. You're seeing a lot more colleges. Kennesaw State was the first school in the country to do this, but a lot of them, Georgia State now has a program where they actually have a degree called entrepreneurship. You can go to school, study, and get a degree in being an entrepreneur. So I think you're going to see more people take on that challenge.
That would have been very valuable.
You would have liked to have had that when you were in school.
yes.
All right. Obviously, you have partners. Hot or not, having partners.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part, I would say hot. We've definitely had some challenges over the years on agreeing for the vision of the company, what we would do at certain times. We have 4 partners, and the way we do it, we don't really have any structure of who's the final decision maker. I guess since I was the main role in the company, that kind of goes to me. But one thing we always try to do is we never leave our board meetings with any unanswered questions or disagreements. There was some certain times where we did have those challenges, and I think we've learned through those. I think we've also just matured and grown through that.
These were all friends,
the
right?
benefit, yeah.
So
It's amazing that you're still partners, I think.
Has that put a strain on the friendship?
It did at one time. Early on, it was good. So I would say overall hot because, all of us together, we were able to help make it successful.
Yes.
Right? Trying to do something by yourself, there's so many things to have to do. For one person, that's a lot. Where when we had 4, we could divide and conquer, right? And even all of our network of relationships, you're able to bring in more people. The challenge is when you start getting to a point when we started having significant success. All of a sudden, are we all in alignment with the vision and the strategy and how we do this, right? Yeah. That said, we work through those things, and I really like the support. You're not out there on an island by yourself at times. When there is something very challenging and I can't go to my team and ask them, I can go to my partners, and they provide a really good sounding board. And so I would say overall hot.
Perfect.
Right.
But if I was to do it over, I definitely would. It would be great to know some of the things you're going to step into.
Right.
Yeah, if that
Which
makes
is
sense.
which is impossible.
Right.
It is your first time. Exactly.
So hot or not, sharing your financials with your employees. How much do you share with them?
I do share. I do share some of that. We've got I've got several different reports that one's called like our bio-exec report that just shares a lot of different data of how the company's performing at a company level as well as at a market level, and I share that stuff with them.
For motivational reasons, or why do you share it with them?
Just not necessarily motivational, just to in transparency and inclusion, and wanting them. It helps them do their job better. There are a couple key reports, more financially, that is just at a board level. So I've not seen most companies just share that out completely. For one reason is it's you get to run a business, and you get to know how to run a business well enough. I could go into another person's business right now. If you show me the financials, I know how they run the business, and I could go do it myself. Right? I mean, you could look at our financials and understand our business model, how we make money, why we make money, what areas that we do that we put more money into that works for us, and someone could take that and go do it themselves or share it out. Right? So I'm always, I don't want to say I'm paranoid, but I am cautious with what is shared out from that perspective. Right?
You don't want
Not that I'm trying to hide it, but you also got to think about there's other people out there trying to beat you as well.
Definitely.
Well, we are almost out of time, so I wanted to give you the opportunity to tell the public that's listening, if they want to play kickball, what should they do? Where should they go?
Yes. If I was to sum up what Go Kickball is basically we are a social co-ed adult kickball and other and social sports company that allows 20, 30, even 40-somethings to get out and be active, be outdoors, and meet new people and be with your friends. Right? We use the tool of these social sports to bring people together, and it's great for people physically, mentally, and emotionally. Our website is gokickball.com to play kickball, and again, we're in about 30 cities nationwide, and I've got great people leading each one of those and creating a great experience. And then we also have our other sports that we're now doing, softball, soccer, flag football, volleyball, and so on, through Go Sports Unlimited and Go Sport and Social Club, and they can find that at gosportsunlimited.com and gosportandsocialclub.com.
So they can pick a sport, they can pick a location, and then they can pick a league, or they can have you match them in a league.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for coming on Between Two Trains. We really appreciate it. Rachel, thanks again for co-hosting. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another great entrepreneur here on Between Two Trains.